Hello everyone. We're looking at a project management assistant to rival the SaaS platforms out there like Jira and Clickup. Keeping all of your project management private while keeping you automated with AI fully at the core. Managing your emails, calendar, full project management database with projects, tasks, contacts for your team members, their workload, and also your clients. On top of that, a workflow to automate your LinkedIn to promote your organization. Here's the workflow. You've probably seen my other short. If not, check that out, which will go into detail on how to secure your chat triggers in Telegram. So here, this is the important bit. You get a chat ID that is sent by Telegram. You need to set the options in here, in the additional options, so you can secure it so other people can't get into your workflow. The other thing you can do on the Linux terminal, when you're creating the username for your bot, rather than putting John's chatbot, put a secure string. Quick Linux command. Put that string, type bot at the end. You've got a very difficult to search for name for your chatbot. This new workflow includes all of the latest MCP protocols for connecting to different MCP servers, which have all been hosted natively inside n8n for ease of management and for configurability. As you can see, the main chatbot has got a lot simpler prompt now, because we don't have to list the ins and outs of everything, because the MCP server handles that and is a communication layer between the LLM and the tools. So the LLM doesn't have to work out what tool does what. It just asks the MCP server, and the MCP server then tells it what APIs it's got at hand. There's the Baserow MCP. In this workflow, we're using a Baserow MCP that was constructed in n8n rather than the MCP server that is native inside Baserow. This is because on my instance I've got a lot of databases for testing, and that overwhelms the LLM. If you were doing it in production, you would connect it directly to your Baserow instance, because you'd only be hosting your production database in there. Although it's very handy having the feature in n8n, because you can build it exactly how you want, putting all the tools at hand for each part of the database. Here's the MCP server that was built for the calendar agent, and here's the MCP server that was built for the email agent. There's the calendar agent itself, there's the email agent itself. This is the research agent that we've had before. Then we've got this is the content creation LinkedIn post creator, and this is the method of posting it straight onto LinkedIn. See the other video for more details of that. So we'll look in depth at this. This is the MCP server client node that's attached on our workflow, and that connects directly with here. I've put authentication in there so that it's all kept secure. if you're running this on a local instance on your laptop, for example, using localhost, then you wouldn't necessarily need to have the authentication. But this is on a cloud, on a server that's a VPS, so we've got the authentication there. Let's test. Can you bring up my notes? So we've added, since we've built the previous project management agent, we've added notes onto there as well. So not only have you got your tasks for each project, we can now put a separate little notes section for you to keep your business life, and even if you wanted to use it for your personal life, you can use it for many different purposes, almost like a scratch pad. Even keeping ideas as you're on the road. When you come up with an idea, you can just speak into Telegram, it'll put it in there, and then you can look at it later. Show me all the projects in the projects database. Can you show me any tasks with a missed deadline? There we go, look. It's now showing that there's some tasks with a missed deadline. Who's... Can you bring me Jane Smith's contact information? So we're now going to have a look at Jane Smith. Can you email Jane Smith to find out why we've missed the deadline for the wireframe design and book that meeting for 3 o'clock this afternoon? So now it's constructed the email and now it's asking for confirmation. Yes, send that off from John. There we go. It's now sent that email off. Can you show me my calendar for today? Can you schedule that meeting with Jane for 3 o'clock? Can you make a note with the title Things to Bring to the Meeting? And then make a list: pad, laptop, documents for Jane Smith's project, and put it as in progress. Bring up my notes, please. There we go, you can see it's now got a whole list of notes all set up. We also have calculator functions and think functions in there. There's also a vector database as part of the There's also a vector database as part of the project management assistant. So the project management assistant can be aware and have documentation of many parts of the projects that you have, so it has a background understanding of what you're working on. Let's look at the MCP server for the database. So here's the project management database that's in Baserow, with our two extra added tables for our content creation and our notes. As you can see, you've got all of your projects just here. Then the tasks, which are all linked to the projects, unlike a spreadsheet where you've just got each individual sheet and that's it. Nothing's linked between the two. Each table you can link things between the two. So when something gets changed on the projects, it can change the tasks, and when something changes on the tasks, it can change under the projects as well. And the same with having client contacts and team contacts. When you update the team member that's working on the project and the tasks, it will update it on the different tables. This is why it's so powerful, and why all these proprietary project management suites, their days are numbered. Why are you going to work on a laptop with a piece of software, having to open it up, or a clunky app, when you can just speak and it will just respond, giving you all the information you need, just like having your own PA. Now let's look at the MCP server and see what's put into each section and how they're set up. So simply, if you've already created different agents for connecting, so on the other workflow that I showed previously, where there was a contacts agent and a projects and tasks agent, what we've done here is we've brought all of the different tools nodes in and connected them up to the MCP server. Then what we've done is we've just made a few little adjustments to make them work more effectively. So with this notes updater, most of it is as it was before. So from AI title, from AI notes, but then on this section here where we've got the multiple choice selection, either not started, in progress, or completed, we just need to give a little bit of instruction on. So with normal written language, you just tell it what options it's got and how to use it. Then that way it can put it into the database effectively. Same with the calendar MCP. We've taken the agent and just dropped all of its tools and connected them to the MCP server. This makes it so the agent is a lot more universal. You can just swap out the MCP server. So if you decided to use a different calendar, suddenly you're using Calendarly, you just swap out the MCP server. The agent stays the same. And multiple different workflows can access that MCP server. So if you've got one project management workflow that is connecting through Telegram and one that's connecting through OpenWebUI, you can have them both connecting to the same MCP server using the same services, rather than having to have separate workflows for each. This is far more efficient. This is the email MCP server. So this is how you add a new tool to it. So you just go in here, bring up the new tool. So now you can add delete, and then you can now just press this little button here, which then will fill it out to grab it from the AI. And that's it. Very simple. So now it has the ability to delete emails. You could also add multiple different tools. So if you're managing different email accounts, you could also add some Outlook ones on here as well. If you need any help with automations for your business, then reach out on theautomatedai.com. Check out the description for links to buy this workflow and other workflows. Also in the description is links to donate to the channel to keep content coming. Thank you for watching and enjoy automating.